Taoiseach, the Egyptian authorities arrested 1,540 Egyptian people in the weeks just before COP in order to prevent them organising protests. Thousands and thousands of people are imprisoned, detained. Even when they get judicial orders for their release, they disappear. You have the case of Abdel Fattah, imprisoned for 5 years for, quote, spreading fake news, by which it is meant that he utters words critical of the al-Sisi regime. I mean, did you even raise these issues with the Egyptian authorities? Never mind question whether it was appropriate to go to a conference in a regime that so brutally crushes even the mildest voices of criticism of the al-Sisi regime.
Deputy Boyd Barrett raised the issue in terms of human rights in Egypt, and concerns about human rights is a real issue. It's something that we have raised on a continuous basis with Egypt, both bilaterally and in multilateral forums. We raise issues including freedom of expression, space for civil society, digital freedom, treatment of human rights defenders. At the Human Rights Council in March of last year, Ireland co-signed a statement expressing concern about human rights in Egypt, including use of terrorism legislation to detain human rights defenders and civil society activists. The protection of human rights defenders forms a key part of Ireland's foreign policy. I understand that Abdel Fattah has paused his hunger strike and that his family were allowed to visit him on the 17th of November. Minister Coveney has raised this issue and other human rights issues in his discussions with Foreign Minister Shukri when they met recently at COP27. No one should be detained for exercising their basic human rights or indeed defending the rights of others. So we consistently raised that. On the issue of going to COP, at one level it was important that it was held in Africa, Middle East Africa, because it's a continent that feels at times excluded from the debate, particularly in terms of the loss and damage fund, climate finance. That's an issue that's very important to Africa in particular. And the balance is, all of the COPs can't be held in Europe all of the time, or indeed in the US. And that will mean hosting them in locations that at first, that may not suit everybody at any time. Well, that's the reality. And I mean, that is a challenge, but I think it is important that world leaders do meet on this issue on an annual basis. That would be my view. Because if they don't, momentum could slip. And Ireland isn't responsible for the entire world. We've got to look after our own affairs first. In terms of, we have a democracy here and so on like that, but, we can't change the entire world on our own. And it's by being members of multilateral fora that we can help to shape the world in a better place, to a better place. I think Ireland does that well, actually, to its aid programmes and to its foreign policy and the conduct of foreign policy more generally.